In the heart of the great kingdom of Ijero, where the earth hummed with the rhythm of ancient drums, lived a king whose power was as vast as the sky itself. His name was Abadil, and his palace shimmered with gold and marble, a testament to his might. His every word was law, his every wish a command. I know this because I was there. My name is Tund, and I served him from the time I was just a boy of 16. He was a good man once, but power, my friends, is a river that can either nourish the land or drown the king who tries to tame it. King Abadil wanted everything the light touched: more land, more cattle, more women. His hunger grew until it began to crave what was never meant to be his. It all began on a day that seemed like any other. My dearest friend, Bako, another loyal servant, brought his wife, Amina, to the palace for the first time. She was a vision of grace, her spirit as gentle as a morning dove, her smile a ray of sunshine that could pierce the darkest clouds. But when the king's eyes fell upon her, I saw a shadow cross his face, a flicker of something dark and covetous. He stared for far too long, his gaze lingering with an intensity that made the air feel heavy. That very evening, he summoned me to his chambers. Tund, he said, his voice low, who is that woman? I bowed my head. My lord, she is Amina, the wife of your faithful servant Bako. The king simply nodded, a slow, deliberate motion, but I could see his mind was already weaving a dangerous tapestry. A few days later, a long and arduous errand was devised, sending Bako to a distant village. The kingdom was cloaked in the silence of night when the king sent for Amina. That night, the palace was unnervingly quiet, bathed in the pale, watchful light of a full moon. I was in the great hall, polishing the king's ceremonial spears, when I heard it, a faint whisper on the wind, the soft, heartbreaking sound of a woman crying. Then a heavy door creaked shut, sealing the royal chambers in a dreadful silence. The next morning, Amina emerged like a ghost. Her eyes were red-rimmed and hollow, her head bowed in a shroud of shame. She slipped away from the palace without a word. Not long after, King Abadil walked into the courtyard, but he was a changed man. His hands trembled so violently he could barely lift a cup of water to his lips. His face was ashen, his eyes wide with a terror I had never seen before. He claimed a shadow had visited him in a dream, a woman standing by his bed, her eyes burning like embers. He had shouted, "Who are you?" And a chilling voice had echoed back, "You took what was not yours." From that day forward, a creeping madness began to consume the king. Sleep became a stranger to him. He would sit for hours on his magnificent throne, erupting in fits of hollow laughter that echoed through the empty halls. His nights were filled with screams, his lips forming one name over and over again: Amina. The royal physicians, the most learned in all of Ejero, came bearing potent herbs and ancient charms, but their remedies were useless against a sickness of the soul. The king swore that the spirit of a woman was haunting him, her ghostly form following him everywhere he went, her whispers tormenting him even in his dreams. Some nights, he would bolt from his chambers, shouting, "Fire! Fire!" his voice raw with panic. But there was no fire, only the consuming flames of his own guilt and fear. Throughout the kingdom, whispers began to spread like wildfire. The gods are angry, the people murmured. The king has broken a sacred law. When Bako finally returned from his journey, he found his home silent and his wife a broken shell of the woman she once was. With trembling lips, Amina confessed everything that had happened in his absence. Bako listened, his face a mask of stone. He said nothing, did nothing. He only walked outside, looked up at the vast, unforgiving sky, and uttered a single, chilling sentence: "The gods will judge." That very night, a storm unlike any other descended upon Ijero. Thunder cracked and rolled across the heavens, shaking the very foundations of the palace. Yet not a single drop of rain fell. By morning, Bako was gone. He had vanished without a trace. No one saw him leave. Some elders whispered that he had walked into the deep forest to seek the wisdom of his ancestors. Others believed the gods themselves had taken him. After that night, the king's madness spiraled into a bottomless abyss. He tore at his royal garments, refused all food, and began conversing with the empty air as if it held a person only he could see. "Bako, forgive me," he would cry out. "Amina, leave me be." But he was always terrifyingly alone. The end came on a cool, damp evening. The palace guards discovered the king sitting outside in the pouring rain, a serene, unsettling smile gracing his lips. He was staring intently at something none of them could perceive. "She is here again," he whispered, his voice barely audible above the storm. "She is smiling now." And then he laughed a long, strange, and hollow laugh that seemed to carry the weight of all his sins, echoing through the palace walls one final time. By sunrise, King Obadiah was gone. His lifeless body was found by the royal river, his magnificent crown bobbing gently in the current, a fallen symbol of his fallen reign. The elders declared that the spirits had claimed him, taking his life just as they had taken his peace. The kingdom of Ijero mourned for 7 days, as was tradition, but no one dared to speak of the true reason for the king's demise. Amina left the village shortly after, disappearing like a morning mist, and was never seen again. As for me, I still serve in the palace, now under a new, wiser king. But sometimes, when the moon is full and hangs like a silver eye in the night sky, I can still hear a faint, chilling laughter drifting from the old king's chambers. The others say it is just the wind whistling through the corridors, but I know better. The spirits do not forget, and in the great kingdom of Ijero, we learned a powerful lesson. Even kings are not above the sacred laws of the ancestors. Thank you so much for journeying with me through this story. If you enjoyed this tale from the heart of Africa, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next mystery.